Hey guys, THUNDERSTUD here, and we're making a new deck, or it's not too new, but we're using the new card, Nova Summoner. Now I thought this card would be much better than it is, but it's actually not. What does he do? Well, first and foremost, he can float himself, so that's a pretty interesting thing for counter fairies. They don't really have a float effect. They have all sorts of crazy effects, but not a float, so that's pretty unique if that's anything. But who knows how it vibes with the archetype. We're trying to use his second effect, Sanctuary of the Sky, where he'll summon an Arcanite Parshath when you have Sanctuary of the Sky on the field. So I thought he'd be able to summon the Beast Mode Parshath, which is the 2800 guy who will come out kind of like this monster, who when you use a counter trap, thought we'd be able to summon him, but this is literally the only boy we can summon. It's absolutely pathetic, but I have worked him into the deck so we can use that effect. And with the floater, you could actually get some tribute summons off with him. He's not worth it. He's only 1900 attack, 2200 with this, the Sanctum of Parshath, that increases the attack by 300. He will draw a card when you do piercing damage, or just any kind of damage to your opponent. He does do piercing damage. So there's a lot going on, but this card's old as dirt. It's been out in this game forever. Super weird to get support for only him. I thought it'd work for all sorts of other Parshath, but it doesn't. Unlike this card, Rebirth of Parshath, which will bring out any Parshath monster, much more useful. So obviously we could bring out our Synchro, we could bring out this boy, and had we chosen our big 2800 boy, we could have done that. But he pales in comparison to our Dark Dragon Lord, who still vibes with counter traps. You get to special summon him whenever you use a counter trap, and he gets a different effect depending on what you countered. It's 1500 damage to your opponent when you do a spell. That's by far the most common one. When you do a trap, you get to target one of your opponent's cards and destroy that target. Monster, target a monster in your graveyard, special summon it. That's probably the worst off. And you know how important negating monster effects is. So that's not good, but usually you hit him with the spell for that 1500. It's pretty devastating. Now we're using balance, so we're only running these 6 monsters. We're only running 3 cards. They're all Sanctuary of the Sky, essentially. This does a little more. Gain 300. Spell and trap cards cannot be targeted by or destroyed by card effects. And you get to return some fairies or counter traps to your deck in whatever order you want. But usually the duel doesn't get that far to where you're using it. But you will see that spell and trap cards cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. That includes your own. So pretty crazy. You can't target your opponent's spell or traps when they're set. So that's super annoying. Learn that the hard way this way. But we're a counter trap deck, so we're running mostly traps. We're running 8 traps, just 3 super strong negates with Parshath, who also works getting us our boss monster. Divine Punishment's just super easy to use, and especially more so considering we're always going to have a Sanction or a Sanctuary. Works out really well. And then Dark Bribe's just super consistent. Even when you can time it to avoid that +1 to your enemy being super pivotal, it's just strong. Any spell or trap you want, you just negate it. Works out really well. And that's the basic math, guys. So with that, you should have a couple traps, monster, and a spell. That's ideally what you want. But that's just the problem with counter traps. If your opponent has half his wits about him, they know when you're ready to counter. They know when to play around you. It's really hard to force the issue, especially with this 1400 or 1700 monster. People aren't too really scared of it. They don't really need to make the plays. But of course, there's decks out there who can't afford to do that. Decks that have to make a play and have to go headlong into your negates. And that's when you're really seeing success. But yeah, counter traps, they're just so annoying, guys. I don't like playing them. I revisit them because it's like, in theory, they should be strong, but in practice, your opponent just always knows how to get around them, so it really makes for annoying duels. But we gotta try out this new card regardless, so I hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for watching. Alright, here we are facing a Zane. Going second. He's using Cyber End Dragon and a Burst Mat, or a sleeve. Burst sleeve, Cyber End Mat. Very cool styling. Somehow starting with 2 monsters, even though the math says we should be starting with 2 traps. I know it's random, but the math is there. We have more traps than monsters, so it should be happening. But anyway, take what we got, just a Divine Punishment, And our little Nova. Now look at that, guys. What does this card do? Set, spell, and traps cannot be targeted by or destroyed by card effects. So our boy really saved us. This is why we played both Sanctuary and Sanctum at the same time. He tries to overflow, aims for these two, only gets the one, leaving our live Divine Punishment. Works out so great. Then he has to take 1400 to the dome. Here goes the core. We say no way. Divine Punishment on the boy. That brings out our Vandalgyon, the Dark Dragon Lord, but our boy doesn't want to see it. He scoops before we can. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here's a Pegasus going first. Oh, he's using a pretty interesting sleeve of mat there, that little checkered design, diamond design. Pretty cool. So this is a proper hand, starting with 2 traps. Don't want to see this ugly boy, but we can bring him out if we get our Nova and float enough. Here we're fighting Karakuri. We're going to say no way. That boy's a 1-card combo. Stop him dead in his tracks. Inasachi has to scoop, or not scoop, but pass his turn. There's the Nova I was talking about. So even against Battle Destruction, we'll still have a monster on the field to bring out our Air Knight. He has to pass. That means we're going to do it, guys. Bring out our Air Knight. 2200. We get to draw a card when he does damage. That's literally his whole appeal. We draw a pretty useless one, but we still have control of this duel. He's going to bring out a Nisamu. Try to bring out his Kunamzan. Then he uses cash. Guess what? We can stop it with Dark Bribe. He only has 100 life points left. What does this boy do when you negate a spell? You tell me, guys. Here he comes. 1500 life points versus that 100. Nice and easy win. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here's the Sartorius. We're going second. No sleever map for our boring little boy over there. Using 30 cards. We got a Nova. I don't know why we're always starting with 2 monsters over here. He's using Light Barrier, which means he's likely Valkyrie, but he's actually Evil Eyes, so I have no idea why he's using Light Barrier. Starting off with a Familiar instead of a Dusa. I really don't know what this guy's doing. Uses that Giorgino, throws away the Dusa, brings out the Evil Eye of Defeat. Remember, face down cannot be targeted with our Sanctum. So, not by us either. Super annoying. Learned that the hard way. Here we get 2 Sanctuary and Sky, which means Divine Punishment is likely going to be live the whole time. Here I have Domain would make us take the same damage we do from battle, but with Sanctuary of the Sky we take 0 in battles involving fairies. So that's worded just fine to do that for us. Here our boy's throwing away cards, searching cards, tries to use another Paradolia. That's when we hit him with the negate. Guess what this boy does when you negate a spell? Not only does he special summon, but he hits you for 1500 damage, making any one of our boys a lethal swing. He doesn't want to see it, guys. He scoops. Great stuff. Alright, here's an Esperoba. We're going first. Let's see what our boys got first. Using a Silent Magician mat. That's actually pretty cool. Starting with 2 monsters again. This deck was so annoying to play. It was not functioning properly. It just never does. So we get our Divine Punishment, get our Nova Summoner. Here's Black Wings. We're gonna play a really gutsy move and negate that Whirlwind, just because that's his best effect. No monster in our graveyard to summon, no monster to destroy. So we just use that 1500 damage, guys. He sets 2, destroys our Nova Summoner. That means we get our Parshath out, guys. Take no damage while I did it. That's a Rebirth of Parshath. Now, why do I attack with that boy first? Because he probably has some sort of effect negation. Now, look it. We're playing against him like we're playing against counter fairies. We're avoiding his effect negation because Parshath's effect is not optional. We would have done some damage, trigger his effect to draw a card. He would have negated it, brought out a Blackwing. It would have been just a mess. But we swing with the correct order, finish him off, don't even get to draw a card, and finish a first turn Blackwing. Super easy. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here's a Yami Yugi. We're going first. No sleever map for the boy. Gotta show him balance. That's what I'm talking about. 2 traps. Those are the 2 traps we want too. But we're gonna save 1 for our Rebirth of Parshath. He sets 3 back row. Pointless top deck. Tries to hit us with that navigation. We say no way. Now guys, when this boy negates, when you negate a trap and summon this boy, target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. We don't even get to target his set back row because of our own Sanctum. Sanctum makes it set spell and traps cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. That means it protects your opponent's cards too. How absurd is that? Super tilted when I learned that. Like what? Why protect our opponent's cards? Don't like the wording to that card. It really ticks me off. But yeah, I really don't have fun with counter traps anymore. It's just my opponent not interacting and just trying to find a way to finish us without setting off negation. Super annoying. Nova is not aggressive enough. I don't think floating is what counter fairies really needed. So I don't know, Konami. This card should have been out probably a long time ago. But they just snuck it in this latest box, so we checked it out and it's meh. So don't go crazy over it. Even if you guys love counter fairies, just play it the same way you always have. But I can't imagine anyone loves counter fairies too much because they're very annoying to play. But I hope you guys enjoyed regardless, so thanks for watching.